Hello Internet, this video is part of the Dream Garage playlist on Scott's Garage, where I plan on finishing this old unfinished garage in 6 months and in 6 steps. This video is step 1, electrical. Keep watching. Now, more specifically in this video, I will show you how I modified the 2 existing circuits, one of which fed this south wall. There are only 2 outlets, but I added 5 more. The other circuit is for the lights. And then secondly, how I added a third brand new circuit. Here's the home run, and it goes down to the west wall feeding all of these outlets. No, I'm just a do-it-yourselfer. I am not a licensed electrician. Do not look to this video for any professional advice on electrical because it's not. If you don't feel comfortable doing your own electrical work, then hire a licensed electrician. Also, do your own research. If you're going to do it yourself, look at the electrical code in your particular state. I live in Montana, so I went online and read up on the electrical code for the state of Montana. And I found out that I needed a permit to add a new circuit. So I purchased one online. Here it is. When my work is completely done, I'll need to get it inspected, which I want to do that to make sure I did things correctly. It cost me about $45 for this online permit. I learned some things as well from the permit. In addition, that you need a permit for an additional circuit. I also found out that you cannot put the lights on the same circuit as the outlets. And it's for a safety reason. If you were using a table saw, for instance, and did something to trip the breaker, you don't want the lights turning off at the same time. So it makes sense. Finally, before we move to the detail of how I did this electrical work, I used 2 adjustable gang boxes, both of which I ordered on Amazon. For your convenience, I'm adding a link below in the description, an affiliate link. If you choose my link, it costs you the same on Amazon. I will get a fraction of the sale. It doesn't amount to a whole lot, but it's simply there for your convenience. Now, this one was more affordable, but it's adjustable only in the sense that the little screws there, the wood screws, if you had to, when you attach it to the stud, if you made a mistake, you could take off the outlet and you could put a screwdriver in there and you could back them off and you could adjust it more easily. By far though, the better adjustable gang box is this one, the blue one. And really love this. This was so easy. You attach it to a stud, and then with this set screw, it allows you easily to adjust it in and out depending on the thickness of the material you use for finishing the wall. And I chose this blue box on this side because I'm not for positive sure what material I'm using yet. So no matter what I use, I can easily adjust it 1 inch in both directions. Well, let's go back in time 1 month. As I said before, the garage only has 2 circuits, one of which fed these 2 outlets, only 2 outlets in the entire garage. On the same circuit, there is a switch here that feeds an outdoor light. My first step was to rearrange the outlets, making the first one a GFCI and adding 4 more. Now, rearranging the outlets and moving the first outlet into a double adjustable gang box next to the outside switch went very smoothly. The existing cable was a 12-2 Romex. So the first outlet, I made a 20 amp GFCI outlet with then 4 regular 20 amp outlets downstream of the GFCI. The height of all the outlets and switch is 4 feet. Here is me installing all the gang boxes and running Romex between them. I'll give you more details of the specific outlets I'm using when we work on the west wall. Now the circuit breaker already for this existing circuit is a 20 amp circuit. Okay, here's how the south wall turned out. So everything went in very smoothly, and I have the GFCI here next to the switch going outside. So the load goes this way, the line in is here. If any of these trip, then it's an easy reset here by the door. Now I didn't film it, but you can see here that I dropped down and I added another gang box in the chain here. And this one is facing the exterior. And so I added a weatherproof electrical outlet. Let's take a look. Okay, here is the exterior outlet with the weatherproof cover. It feeds my Traeger grill. I'm so happy to have an outlet out here for that. For the most part, it turned out. I really like the weatherproof cover. I have an Amazon affiliate link below for your convenience. I messed up a little bit. You can see what happened. I cut the gang box and it fit perfectly just right on this piece of siding. I forgot about the hinge. With the hinge, I had to recess it into this second piece of siding. But for the most part, besides that, it turned out really well. Now let's go back in time again about 3 weeks ago to the west wall. For this west wall, I first furred out the wall with some furring strips. This will allow a little more insulation for the west wall, which is the most susceptible to the cold in the winter. I then added 5 adjustable gang boxes, the ones that are better, along this wall at a height of 4 feet. Then, using a 1/2-inch wood bit in my coreless drill, I drilled holes in the center of each stud. I then ran sections of 12-2 Romex cable joining the boxes. Okay, I'm at the very end. This is the final receptacle. I'm going to start there first on this circuit. And this is 12-2 Romex cable. And basically there are 3 wires in it. One's the ground, but 2, and that's why it's called 12-2. You don't include the ground wire. And what I'm going to do is just show you how I'm wiring up this receptacle. I bought a case of these lights. You can see the link in the description below. They're supposed to be industrial quality and tamper resistant. And for the most part, I like these. However, a couple things I've learned already with them. I purposely picked out gray. And tamper resistant simply means that you can't, like, a child cannot accidentally just, plug a screwdriver there and get shocked. There's a little barrier, plastic barrier there, so you have to push it all the way in. That's what that means. And so this is a 20 amp. So the 12-2 allows for 20 amp. I'll have a 20 amp GFI when I come off the home run. So all the outlets that are downstream of that have to be 20 amps, so that's what this is. Now, I'll be skidding the wire off here, the tips, and there's a gauge built into this for that, where you can see the exact length is right there. So you can see, it's really not that long. There's a couple ways of doing it. You can insert the wires directly in the back, and then it kind of like sandwiches, like a little vise that the wire goes in. And I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to do it old school, where I'm going to strip it a little bit more, and I'm going to come in the side and wrap it around the screw and tighten it that way. Some of the earlier ones I did, even though they were viced in there, they still were pulling out as I was working with it. So I really think the old school is a little bit better way to go. Okay, on these receptacles you have basically the copper side. Really isn't copper anymore, but it's still copper color. And then these screws are silver, and so the silver goes with the neutral, which is the white, and the hot is the black, and that corresponds with the copper color. And the ground is green. And I'm using a square screwdriver. They fit really well with these. There we go. Tighten it, but don't over tighten it. Okay. That's good. Okay, now for the hot side. Black. Okay, finally the ground. And I like to have the ground side of the plug down. Okay, we'll double check everything. Gotta make sure everything's tight. It is. And I'm still old school. I'm going to run some electrical tape around this. All right, so there's tons of wire here, and I'm going to fold it already back here. There we go. There's plenty of room if you have to work on it. And these are square as well. So we'll just line them up and put them in place. Again, the ground is down. I suppose there's argument for having the ground up, but yeah, this is how I like it. Okay, so working backwards. So this is the first outlet that will have the two sets of wires coming in. So you just want the neutrals, the whites, to be on the silver side, and then the two black wires or the hot wires to be on the copper side. Okay, now for the ground wires. The ground on the receptacle is right here, and these green nuts that have the hole there, the wire nuts are just perfect for this. They're made for it, and basically you go this way, and the longer one we're going to poke through will eventually create a loop to go there, but it just goes through, and you have to cut these at different lengths to make this work correctly. And then, so I'm just tightening it, so it's cinching the two together. You want to make sure it's tight, but without, you don't want to strip it out either. But you can take quite a bit of pressure. Okay, there we go. Now I'll create a loop here and we'll attach it there. Okay, ground is down. I'm going to double check everything. Right. Now folding it in place. Voila! Two more, like this, and then the GFI. Okay, I've worked backwards putting the outlets in for this circuit on the west side. I'm now at the first gang box, and with this one, this will be a ground fault interrupter circuit, and this is a good quality. It's Eaton Corporation, and I just have the line that all the other outlets are attached. That's called the load. So on the bottom part of this, that's the load. The line coming in, which I don't have yet, the home run, which will be the 12-2 Romex that will go up and over and into the circuit panel and the circuit breaker. Don't have that yet, but I'll be attaching this, and so I'll be attaching this to the lower side since that is the load side. That's just going to hang out until I get the home run in place. Okay, now it's time to put in the home run. A 12-2 cable that will go over the rafters. Then it's going to go parallel to these other cables down the wall here, and then through a hole that I'll drill into the crawl space below. Okay, I forgot to film drilling the hole through the drywall, but there I'm putting the Romex 12-2 cable in. Here I'm in the crawl space and pulling it through, and then I'm stapling it to each of the floor joists. Okay, and here I'm simply paralleling the other cables there, pulling it up and over, and stapling. And here I'm adding the line I just pulled through as the line side of the GFCI, the ground fault circuit interrupter. Okay, I'm not going to add a whole lot of detail here. On the other side of the crawl space is a basement, and this is an office in my basement, and this is where the sub panel is. And I simply matched the circuit breaker, which was a square D. So I'm adding a 20 amp square D circuit breaker into this sub panel. The last part of the electrical rewiring are the lights. For 40 years, this garage has had 3 lights. One on the wall with a switch on the inside of the house, and 2 on the ceiling with a switch on the garage side. All 3 lights were fed by one circuit. First of all, I got rid of the light on the wall and the switch on the inside of the house. I then added 2 new lights on the ceiling, which will light up the workbench area. I expanded the gang box on the inside of the garage to a double gang box and added a separate switch for the new lights. I then moved the existing 2 lights on the ceiling closer to the overhead doors. Lastly, I added an additional outlet on the ceiling in order to add a special motion sensing light above the stairs leading into the house. Okay, I want to tell you more about this 6-panel LED motion sensing light that I installed there, really close to the new outlet installed close by. Now it's motion sensing, but it hasn't been turning on even though I've been moving over here. And that's exactly what I want. I'm standing where my future workbench will be. I don't want this light turning on and off as I'm working at my workbench area. However, if I come home and use the remote to open up the garage door, it'll instantly come on. Now, and I'll face it, the lights that come standard with garage door openers are not very bright, but this is super bright. And it'll stay on as long as I keep moving as we go into the house. Or if I come out to dump the garbage, it will come on. Now, let me show you a little bit more. A little closer here. Bam, it comes on. I love this product. I love this light. And I've done a separate review of this light. You can see the link here above. There'll be a free giveaway of this light in a live stream upcoming. Okay, here it is. I'm going to turn on the first set of lights. There they are, nice and bright. the back set of lights that I won't use as much, but if these garage doors are shut, I will. Just love how the lights came on. Again, that's sensing me moving, so it came on. And likewise, I have tons of outlets along the south wall and the west wall. Now, one thing I left out, I said in the previous video that I'd be wiring in a 240 volt outlet somewhere in here for a future electric vehicle, or for my brother-in-law who has a fifth wheel and he needs 220 volt, or for using a welder down the road. I decided to hold off on it. I need to do more research. I want to make sure that I do it right. And also, this would be a better wall for that. It's easier to get to the crawl space from here. But I'm going to hold off on that. I'll have a separate video when the time is right. Finally, notice all the staples. I followed code as best I knew of the code of stapling every 18 inches or every rafter. Here I doubled up. These are really large staples, and just want to make sure everything was safe and secure. Hey, great news. The inspector came. He inspected everything, and I passed. There is the ticket that proves it. Now, it helped growing up that I was the son of an electrician. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, but my dad was an electrician, and I learned a lot from him. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching to the end. If you got any value at all from this video, please give me a like. It costs you nothing, but is a great value to me. And now that I passed the inspection, I'll move on to step 2 of 6, and that is insulation. We'll see you in the next video.